WWE's Apex Predator is licking his chops. Advantage Orton as Christian is stunned at the actions of his friend Edge.
Wow, obviously that came as a rude awakening to Christian, but I think most people would agree, well, except for you, Cole, that that was something Christian needed to hear, and Edge put it perfectly.
All right, time for the finale. And I'm going to start off with a little bit of full disclosure here. If you've been a good boy or girl and watched this entire series from the beginning, then all of that you saw before was in one session, and this is being recorded separately. I got interrupted last time and thrown off. I'd actually started recording this match and had to stop, whatever. But the good news is that by having that happen, I get the advantage of saying this. I'm really sorry that because of YouTube and WWE that I can't get the completely awesome, very nice touch that was the authentic build-up packages for each pay-per-view. I can't get those into the video. It's not even a monetization thing. It's just straight up WWE blocks that shit. They have images and sequences in their videos from those pay-per-views going through the system. So if any video shows signs of it, it just completely gets blocked. It won't even go up, which is really unfortunate because they're so fucking awesome, and it's such a nice touch that that WWE games and 2K put that into these showcases, and it just adds a lot of personality and authenticity. It's one of my favorite things, actually. And speaking of which, for this match, this pay-per-view, they did show the authentic build-up package that went with this match, but they also added, I believe, a custom one that didn't exist before this game, and it was to sum up the events that happened right before this match. If you recall, Christian came out first to do his little promo. He had teased on SmackDown that he had a big announcement that was going to, quote, change everything. And that was, of course, that Edge was going to be at ringside and was going to be in his corner and manage him, and that would somehow give him an advantage in this no-holds-barred match. And, of course, instead what happened was that Edge confronted Christian, kind of called him out for having won the world title via disqualification, and I quote, not a joke there, called him he didn't know that his best friend would become a whining, crying, moaning little bitch, and at that moment walked out on him, leaving Christian to face Orton himself. So I was a little disappointed that they didn't simulate that occurrence, in ring, but I get it. Everything that happens, like, actually in the game, in the showcase, is all based on matches. There haven't been simulated artificial promos and whatnot, so instead of doing that, they just bundled it into a video package. I wish they would have shown more of it, actually. It was very condensed. But nonetheless, cool that they did that. They could have just ignored it completely and acted like it didn't happen, but they at least acknowledged it, which was good. It was important. So, I want to get a few things out of the way. Since this is the last video of the showcase, I want to put some final thoughts onto the overall quality of this. I think I already said it in an earlier video, but this showcase starts off so well in terms of accuracy and quality and craftsmanship that went into it, and then it really starts to go downhill around Capital Punishment. There's just something about the second half of this feels very rushed, very unfinished. Even the matches themselves feel like they don't capitalize on enough of the big moments in those matches. Like the Money in the Bank match really only captured only the end sequence of the match where Christian spits in Orton's face. There were so many other cool moments during that match that I believe I talked about in the last video, like Orton kicking out of the kill switch and Christian kicking, Orton counters the spear, then Christian kicks out of the Canadian neckbreaker. That was an awesome sequence, and they chose to just completely ignore that. Luckily, they get back to a few cool moments in this match. Like, already, this is a big one. We'll see Orton's going to counter here into a dropkick. And there'll be at least one other scripted sequence, not including the finish of the match. Sorry if my moveset's a little boring here. I don't want to rush through this match because obviously this is the end of it all. And ooh, I just remembered there is a special post-match video sequence. There's like a kind of like a, how do I put it? Like the cherry on top to the entire showcase. They make a special custom video to kind of sum everything up in the rivalry. And I really, really fucking hope that I can get that online. I won't even try to get the build-up package, all this stuff that they showed right before Orton's entrance. But I will desperately try to get the post-match stuff on the final conclusion to the showcase. And I'm hopeful that I can get that up because I think that's all custom. So hopefully it's not in the database for WWE's blocking. And I'm not mad that WWE has that shit blocked because that's obviously in there for the pay-per-view. So no one uploads just copyrighted, pirated versions of the 2011 pay-per-views. It's totally understandable why they did that. It's just unfortunately the authenticity that WWE games went through for this game unfortunately gets sacrificed to that. It's too realistic. It's too on point. They use too much of the source material. All right, got to get Christian outside of the ring. Ooh, and at the time of recording this, actually recording and uploading are simultaneous for this one. I have to get this up tomorrow, and it's really late at night. I'm trying to record this while before my caffeine rush dies down. Motherfucker. But yeah, at the time of recording this, Orton's still not back, and that's so surprising to me. I thought for sure he'd be back at the Royal Rumble, if not shortly after. Here we are, we're on the go-home week of Fastlane, and still no Orton, which is disappointing to me. I've been really looking forward to him returning. Alright, here comes a scripted sequence. And this is, if you recall, an allusion to what happened in the post-match of Money in the Bank. So during, after Money in the Bank, Orton hit Christian with a monitor, so Christian returns the favor.
Christian is as vicious as I've ever seen him. Oh my gosh. Now what's Christian got in mind? He's got Orton spread eagle right here on our announce table.
Spread eagle? What the fuck does that mean?
Christian actually mocking the Viper. Now be careful, if I were you, Christian, this may come back to haunt you.
And again, alluding to the post-match beatdown at Money in the Bank, where Orton RKO'd Christian twice on the announce table. Christian looking to return the favor. But it's not going to work.
Took a lot out of the Viper as well, though. Orton staggering back to his feet.
Now, unfortunately, I think that's the end of the scripted sequences, other than the final thing that'll end the match. At this point was actually a really good moment. He spent a lot of time down outside the ring after that spot. And upon getting back in the ring, they were kind of dazed and confused, and they run into the back of each other, and Christian drops the kill switch, and the entire LA crowd really thought he had it there. Just because of how out of nowhere it came. It was much different than the kill switch spot at Money in the Bank, where it was really obvious Orton was going to kick out because of how slowly that spot came. And unfortunately, I feel like they could have added at least one, if not two more things here before the end of the match. There's some really cool sequences, though they really, after he kicks out of the kill switch, Orton really starts to dominate the match and just completely puts Christian away. There's a spot where, in this corner over here, he puts Christian through a table that was set up in the corner via the power slam. Another cool spot was using the Hangman's DDT off the ropes and putting Christian through a trash can. That was a cool spot. Especially because those awesome WWE trash cans. So designed to crumble. Same way tables are designed to break, made out of fiberboard, but the trash cans are, they might as well be soda cans. They crumble so easily. So as soon as Christian hits it, that thing just collapses in on itself. Alright, let's see if I can... How do I pick it? Oh, okay. Now I got it. And... Alright, I can put it down. Or I can throw it at him, whatever. I gotta use a charged finisher. Okay, this should work. This should be the end of the match. The end of the showcase. Here we go. So, right here, Christian hits him with the kendo stick. The only shot he got in like the last 3 minutes of the match. And of course, the RKO off the steel steps. That too an illusion, or at least in my opinion, that was alluding to how the rivalry started, with Orton winning the first match, countering the sunset flip. So he wins the last match, asterisk, countering the sunset flip, this time on the steel steps, to win back the World Heavyweight Championship.
Randy Orton is the new World Champion! Guys, I've seen a lot of things, but I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that. What a battle!
Two superstars, each with a storied past.
Two guys who have made history. Christian connecting! Christian wins the Intercontinental Championship. The list of accolades for Christian is almost endless. He's got a storied career here in the WWE. Every year, Randy himself continues to get better.
That's the Viper right there that can strike like that. Two superstars who stopped at nothing. Whether it meant abandoning their values.
I am through with all of you. I'm through with all of my so-called peeps. And when I do become the World Heavyweight Champion, I'm gonna do it for myself, because I won't be sharing it with any of them.
Or giving in to the voices in their head.
Randy Orton has gone completely insane.
Talking about anger management. To be called.
This goes to show you how much this championship means to both of these competitors right here. You gotta love it.
World Heavyweight Champion.
And that is what it's all about in WWE. Being at the top of the mountain.
You want to be champion here in the WWE, you got to go through hell and high water.
Two of the most celebrated champions in all of history.
Oh, there you have it. That's the showcase. And hopefully you just saw that video package. If you didn't, hopefully I edited in something that'll take you to it. I hope it's somewhere on YouTube if I didn't get to put it up. But it's a great little package at the end. And I think 2K kind of inflated Christian's legacy a little bit. Even the commentary in this game, if you play with Christian outside of the showcase and universe mode or whatever, the commentary is very favorable for him. At one point, King even refers to him as a future Hall of Famer. Not that I disagree with that, because I certainly agree with that, but that's certainly not a unanimous opinion. But I want to finish this by saying a few things. One, I already said I can't wait for Randy Orton to return. He was so fucking good when he started feuding with Seth Rollins last fall before he left to go film a movie or whatever. He was so good. I can't wait for him to get back, and I really hope Orton versus Rollins happens at WrestleMania. Two, I know people that follow me are going to ask me, probably not because of this video, but whatever. I get asked about it a couple times, maybe once every other week, about Christian's status with WWE and whether or not he's retired. I consider him retired. That's just me personally. I know what he said. I don't know if that was late December, early January. I think it was like right after New Year's. the following, Sunday after he and Edge appeared on Raw, he was at a charity event. If you haven't heard of this story, he was at a charity event with Chris Jericho in Florida. It was I believe it was a drag queen charity event where they were playing poker, raising money for some cause, or I don't know. But fans got to ask them questions, and a married couple, I believe, asked Christian following that Raw if what Jerry Lawler and Paul Heyman was alluding to was true about whether or not he was retired in the ring if he was done with in-ring competition, and Christian refuted it. So, he's not retired? I have no idea. My personal opinion is he's never going to compete in the WWE again. WWE will not let that happen. I think everything that was written regarding him on that last Raw before the new year was not a mistake. I don't know if they're sending a message. Whatever it is, they're not going to let him compete again, and it's because of concussions. And it's really understandable with how, if you don't live in America, just how important or how stressed the subject of concussions in athletics has become in the last 10 years. It's really big in the NFL. It's a huge topic with football, and it's spread to WWE too. And the situation that was 8 years ago almost with Chris Benoit certainly pushed that topic on WWE more. And WWE's just really careful on that issue. And I think because of that, because it's at the end, even though Christian's had other injuries, like he had a shoulder surgery, tore his pec in 2010. In the end, if it's concussions that claim his career, they won't give Christian, a huge send-off or anything. Whether or not he deserves that kind of big goodbye is debatable. But even if he did, I don't think they'd make a big deal out of it, because I don't think they want headlines out there that say, former WWE champion, quote champion, retires because of concussions. That's just bad PR, and WWE doesn't want that kind of attention. So I don't think he'll ever compete in a WWE ring again. He may want to compete again. What he said after Raw may be an indication that he doesn't consider himself retired and wants to still wrestle. But I think this is just prediction, just a guess, that when push comes to shove and his contract will expire at the end of the year. It was supposed to expire at the end of 2014, but there's a clause that adds another year on a contract for injured superstars. That happened with Rey Mysterio. It happened with Christian. So ultimately, when he's only used for guest appearances and peep shows, and maybe he'll do a couple more of those pre-show panels for the pay-per-views. Ultimately, when that's the only thing he's used for and his contract expires at the end of the year, he'll, discretion will be the better part of valor, and he'll come to his senses and decide that he doesn't want to wrestle outside of WWE again. And he'll probably say something towards the end of this year about officially being retired. But if I'm wrong, and he competes again, maybe this year, maybe in a WWE ring, and I'm just super fucking wrong, then yay! Cool. Okay, final thing I want to say about the showcase is, showcase for me is just a solid B. The matches that were good were great. The matches that felt lazy were lazy. But the additional things, again, that I didn't get to show you, like the build-up packages and the commentary and just the little tiny things that added to the authenticity in recreating those few months, really gave it bonus points for me. Without those things, this would have been like a B- or a C+. It would have really felt like cheap shield DLC. But as someone who lived that rivalry when it was happening and has re-experienced it a few times, via since then, online videos and YouTube and the WWE Network now, very solid effort for recreating that. And hopefully, if you got to see that final end of the showcase video that they did comparing Orton and Christian, I want to say that not only is that really cool, but there's a commentary sometime in the showcase where King makes a really awesome comment. Too bad he doesn't do that in real life. Ha ha ha. Nice joke, Scott. Good job. He makes this awesome comment where I think him and Cole both say it, that Christian Orton's path to the World Heavyweight Championship were so different. Orton was the youngest World Heavyweight Champion in WWE history. And Christian, it took him just over 12 years to win the World Heavyweight Championship in WWE. So their paths there were so different. And I think a lot is made during the showcase and even since then in real life about how different Orton and Christian were, and the differences, the complete perpendicular nature to their careers and how they got there. Christian always felt like an overachiever, a big time underdog. People have said Orton, you know, he's a third generation superstar. He had the silver spoon in his mouth. Even that was even a written shot that Christian took towards Orton before Money in the Bank. But instead of comparing those two, I want to point out a parallel, something that they actually hold in common, and not just their rivalry. Although their accolades may be different, and Orton's won several more world championships than Christian, and did it far sooner than Christian ever did, I want to say the thing that they share in common the most, and that's really cool, is just as Christian truly did get better with age, and that's one of the comments that's built into his normal matches when you play as him, that he's the wily veteran, the fine wine, as they say, that got better with age. Orton has become the same way, and he deserves a lot of credit for it. Orton has gotten so much better over the years, and it's why I can't wait for him to come back. He's, in his mid-30s now, mid to get into the late 30s almost, I think. I don't know, I completely lose track of his age. But Orton's the same way as Christian. I mean, you can say that his accolades are way better, but it's just cool that he like so many before him, Christian's not the only one, Orton's not the only one, many guys before them, they just get better with age and maturity, and they just put out better matches and become more entertaining. And that's what Orton's been. And it reminds me a lot of guys like Christian. And kudos to Randy Orton. That's awesome. So I can't wait for him to return. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the showcase. That's it. I'm out. I gotta go play some Pokemon.